All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Crave Show. Here we are with Chris, and back with me, and we got a guest with us this week, Mike Swanson. How you doing, guys?
Howdy.
Very good. Doing very good.
Mike, where you at? Pan it around a little bit. Show everybody the. And is this California? It doesn't look like California. It looks like somewhere nice.
Yeah, it's actually California, believe it or not. We're up in the hills here in Truckee. We're up at 6,000 feet elevation. It's a pretty cool spot. We got national forest out the backyard for snowmobiling, riding motorcycles, whatever outdoor stuff you like to do. And national forest is right there on the border of the property. So it's just 3 reservoirs right around us. Pretty cool spot to hang out. Not much skydiving though. That's the problem.
How about any fishing? Any good fishing?
Oh yeah, there's tons of good. Some of the best fly fishing in the area is just a short motorcycle ride that way. So yeah.
In a reservoir or a river or creek or
No,
what?
it's a river.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's like my favorite. I love fishing in the river, in the creek. Oh, I love it.
And did you build that house, Mike?
I did, yeah. I didn't frame this one, but I did most of the other stuff. So I subcontracted some things, but I didn't frame this one. I just didn't have time. It's too much time with everything else in life. But yeah, try to do as much as I can.
That's cool, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love all the windows. That's so awesome.
Yeah, my wife designed it. So yeah, that's very all cool. Her. I just nice. She designs it. I build it.
You make it happen. Love
it.
Cool.
Honeydews.
Well, Mike, for all of our listeners that don't know, some of them probably won't know anything at all about you. So
no, probably most of them.
for people who don't know anything about Mike Swanson, what do they need to know about you? Why should they listen to this conversation?
You probably shouldn't.
just quit right now. Go find something else. There's better videos out there.
Better things going on right now.
This is a waste of time.
Chris, don't even start.
Yeah. No, Mike, tell us what. Tell them who you are.
Okay, so I guess professional skydiver, base jumper, speed rider. Been skydiving for I don't know a long time. Probably shouldn't date myself there. Yeah, I guess that's probably it.
That's a good thing. I have some questions.
I've been skydiving for a while.
Guys,
that's who I am.
It's been a good interview.
Yeah. All right. See ya. All right. You got to give us more specifics than that, Mike. Come on. Right. Well, tell us some of the things that you've been involved in specifically, teams or activities, events, different stuff that are notable. I know you got a lot of notable stuff in your past. Come on.
Yeah. So currently I'm on the Red Bull Air Force. I've been with the team for the last 22 years. And that's my main job, traveling around the world doing demonstration jumps and specialty projects. The last bunch of years, I've specialized in wingsuiting and base jumping as my main focus, and speed riding. A long time ago, I used to do a bunch of free flying also, and and also used to do a bunch of canopy flying and competitions and stuff. So,
okay,
a little bit of everything.
That's first of all, that's super cool. That sounds awesome. A couple things that I want you to elaborate on. First one, tell everybody when you say speed riding, tell people exactly what that is. How is that different? What does that mean? How is the equipment different? And then tell us a little bit about the Red Bull Air Force. I think that's so cool. I want to know a little bit more about what that means and what all that is. But do the speed riding first.
Okay, so speed riding is flying down mountains with small parachutes and skis. And it's super fun. if you like skiing and you like flying a canopy of any sorts, you'll love speed riding. It's a pretty small sport, especially here in the U.S., because we just can't. There's not a lot of resorts that'll give permission. There's almost none. So similar to base jumping, it's easiest just to fly over to Europe and train there.
So when you say speed riding, are you differentiating between speed flying? Because with
Yeah,
speed riding, you have skis on.
yeah, speed riding, you have skis on.
But would it be
Speed
the
flying,
same
you
type
don't.
of wing?
Similar wings, yep.
Okay. And how are those wings different from a regular skydiving canopy or like a paramotoring canopy or a free flying canopy? How are they different?
Some of them feel kind of similar to fast canopies. I mean, it just depends on what size you're flying. The first ones that came out were pretty similar to like a stiletto or something, I would say. But now it's kind of, they're more in between high performance canopy, skydiving canopy, and a paraglider.
Okay. So they have, correct me, I mean, is it correct that they have more of a, I don't know if parabolic is the right term, but they're a little bit longer and narrower. Is that accurate or
Yep,
not?
sure.
Okay.
Yep. And there's a lot more performance out of them, as in, you can really trim them out and go far, or you can stay down on the snow.
Cool.
We fly, usually, what am I flying? I'm flying like an 8 meter.
8 square meter.
Yeah. And then, it's super fun. I mean, you can access places on the mountain that other people can't, something that might cliff out, or if there's avalanche debris down low, instead of having to ski over it, you can just pop up and fly over it. If you set off an avalanche or have any issues like that, you could also fly away. It's a lot of fun. It's right up there with flying wingsuits down mountains. It really is a lot of fun.
How would I get into that?
Well, the easiest way is to talk to Jason, because he's done it, and and he'll set you up. But what I would suggest is going over to France to a mountain called Val-Frejus and hook up with a guy there named Frankie, who's got a school. And if he doesn't make you cry, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Nice. Do you know offhand, like what's a typical like horizontal speed that you're flying?
Nah, I don't know. No idea.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, you can go pretty fast. I don't know what the speeds are,
okay.
but you can do flatland barrel rolls with the canopies, and you can get up to some pretty high speeds with it. But that kind of stuff, I just don't really pay attention to the details.
Yeah, no, that's
Just
cool.
like go and have fun.
Yeah, awesome. And where are you launching from? You're just hiking up the mountain and launching from the top,
Well,
or what?
that spot in Val-Frejus is really cool, because you just go up the lift, you get off, you turn left, and you launch right there. And
So
then you
when you're
go
on the
down
lift-
and land next to the bottom of the lift and head back up.
That's cool. When you're on the
Yeah.
lift, what are you doing with your canopy? Where is it?
You got it balled up in a bag.
And you're just holding
So
it.
just on your lap. Yeah, you put it in a small bag, jump on the lift, and then head up. And you can do 20, 30 runs without really trying there. It's
Wow.
an incredible spot. It's the wind tunnel of speed riding.
Wow.
Pretty insane.
So I've done a little bit of paramotoring, and
Yep.
I noticed that the lines on the paramotor are very different than the lines for skydiving. Are they similar on speed riding?
Yeah.
Are those lines similar?
Because no opening shock. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they're like a stiffer. I don't know what the material is or how they're different, but they feel a lot stiffer.
Yeah. I don't know what it is either.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, tell
the
us.
lines. I don't know.
Yeah, they keep you connected to the canopy. That's all that matters. So tell us a little bit about the Red Bull Air Force.
So the Red Bull Air Force is a team made up of skydivers, canopy pilots, base jumpers, wingsuiters. We had some paragliders on for a while. We've got a couple aerobatic airplane pilots and an acrobatic helicopter pilot.
Who are the airplane pilots? The two acrobatic airplane pilots. Do you remember their name?
Kirby and Kevin.
Yeah, Kirby. So I work at iFly in San Antonio, and
Okay.
Kirby came in with his. I think it was his daughter. This was
Yeah.
like four or 5 years ago.
Yep.
He came in, and she flew for a little bit, and oh man, I thought it was so cool getting to meet him and talk to him, and like what a fun guy. Like
Yeah.
he's got some
he's
cool
awesome.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the man. He's been doing it a long time.
Talented pilot. I mean, I don't know anything about piloting an airplane, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but he looks amazing. What he does, what he makes that plane do.
Did he fly in your wind tunnel, Chris?
I don't think he got in. I don't think so. I think it was just his daughter that day, and she was a very good flyer. She was young.
15 years ago, he came to Utah and flew himself, and he is genius on the stick, but the wind tunnel's not.
Yeah, a little bit different.
His daughter rips.
Yeah, she was very good. Yeah. And I want to say, I think she was young. I think it was like 13 or 14. And I was like, wow, this girl's good, man.
Yeah, she's in college now. I'm not sure that she's flying anymore, but yeah, she definitely ripped.
Cool. Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, JRuss, if you jump in,
yeah.
I
know Mike better than you do, so it was easier for me to prep questions. But all right, Mike, your dad's a skydiver. Your brother's a skydiver. Tell us a little bit about the family business, about the family jumping.
So yeah, I grew up around skydiving. My dad's run a nonprofit skydiving club since I was 5 years old. So spent all the weekends of my life growing up at the drop zone. Like you said, my brother's a skydiver. My sister jumped for a while. My dad's skydiver, and he used to base jump. Learning to skydive was just like learning to drive a car. It's just something that you did when you turned 16. I did my first base jump when I was 18, I think. And yeah.
When you first base jumped, Mike, was it a base rig or was it just a skydiving rig?
No, it was a skydiving rig. Free packed into a racer. It's like, I forget what the canopy was, but it was we just free packed it into the racer. I had a one of those, the ditters that were on the exterior of your helmet, big ditter on the back there, full protect. I was so scared. I remember they brought the camera in to get a shot of my knees because they were actually hitting each other, shaking on the exit point. I had the lady Brenda, who was there at the exit point, give me her hand to help me up because you had to climb up onto the railing. At that point, they didn't have a platform or anything like that. So yeah,
this was at the bridge.
I was
or where?
Terrified.
Was that at the bridge? Where was it?
Yeah, it was West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So my dad.
That's where they do Bridge Day, right?
Used to go every year. He started the year after they started Bridge Day. He started going down there, and he would jump a bunch. He would jump rounds off it, static line PCs and whatever off the thing, and have fun. So, yeah, yep, it's good.
So
time.
when you say you were free packing, is that what you said?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So just packing it in the container without a bag.
Oh. Are you packing it a similar way, like folding and packing, roll everything similar to how you would in the D bag? You're just not using a bag?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Okay. So that just makes for
a
super
larger
quick
pilot chute.
Okay.
And I don't even know if at that point we even used a larger pilot chute. Like it was It was so janky. Like I remember walking through the place and oh, there goes my neighbor. Walking through and you know there's different vendors selling stuff and seeing like some of the first base rigs that were for like real they were made for base jumping. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Velcro closures and all the high tech um,
Velcro is
stuff
high
from
tech.
those
Yeah,
days. It was pretty cool.
that is cool. That's really cool.
Okay, so Mike, I don't know if you know, but we had Olav on a couple weeks ago, and
You had
it was
who?
Olav Zipser.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It was nice to have an interview with him. I'm sure you're aware he lost his leg, and he was
yep.
around Skydive Chicago. It was nice. We talked a little bit about Skydive America, and I actually regaled somebody with one of your stories about Skydive America, just the number of jumps that you guys were doing. And I was wondering if you wanted to talk about that time. Was it you and Rook and Olav that were on that team?
Yeah. So that's where so yeah. So I went there, and the team when I first showed up Skydive America was me, Ipo, Stefania, um, and who else was there? Me, Ipo, Stefania, John Matthews came over, and we were the main flyers, I guess, from that time. And yeah, we were jumping so much every day. And then John Matthews had a accident, and Root came over and filled that spot. So that's when Rook and I started. We had obviously met before that, but that's when we started training together. And yeah, we were doing 10 jumps a day minimum on the weekdays, and we would do 25 plus on the weekends. I was jumping the most when Rook showed up. Me and him were jumping the most. Epo, I mean, it was crazy. We had free run. We had a plane. They would let us get out and track from wherever we wanted to. So we'd be like, "Oh, look at the side of that cloud right there," over, and just track down these massive 10,000-foot walls. You know, you just pull up and then just whoa, dive down, and you're just going by it like a cliff edge, head down, carving and tracking all over. And at that time, everybody thought we were funny because Ipo and I were doing like 500 jumps a year just tracking. And I don't know. I was easily doing 2,000 jumps. I was probably doing closer than 3,000 jumps a year at that point. Because that's all we were doing. I had my wife would bring me lunch in the plane, and I was on every single load, and for the 2 years that I was there.
And just to give some context to people, Ipo is Ipo Fabi for people who are not aware of Ipo. He's the owner of Tonefly, um, and I don't know if there's multiple owners, but Ipo's one of them. And then that's Stefania Montenegro that was in Dubai
Yeah,
for a little. Yeah,
yeah.
and was she married to Olaf?
Nah, they were just dating.
Just a couple. Okay.
Yeah,
And Stefania, I don't. She competed, I think, a little bit in freestyle. Is that right?
yeah. Oh yeah, she's world champion, I think, in freestyle a few times, probably,
Well,
and free flying.
yeah.
Yep.
Cool. And
Yeah, she's amazing.
I don't know if I ever met John Matthews.
Yeah, he was on a team from Z Hills. It was like the early day team, which I'm forgetting their name right now, which is kind of embarrassing. But anyways, it was the Zephyr Hills team. It was the first free fly team out of Zephyr Hills, and
Okay.
he came down, and we competed in nationals in Paris. the first free fly nationals in Paris.
What
And it
year
was the
was that?
first official free fly national competition, I believe.
What year, Mike?
They had one in Sebastian the year before, but it was just a test event.
Is that 94 that it was in Sebastian?
No, it was in Sebastian in 99, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The only
And
competitions before that were the Space Games and the SSI Pro Tour events.
what is that?
So the SSI Pro Tour was a ESPN event where it was free flying and sky surfing, and they had tour stops. There was one in Titusville, there was one out in Monterey, and I forget where the other ones were, but it was a free flying and sky surfing tour, and there's competition with real cash prizes, and all the teams came out. There wasn't many teams at that time, but all the teams that were teams came out and competed and had fun and saw what everybody else was up to and kind of helped push the sport forward.
How long did it last at Pahokee?
For me, I made hay while the sun shined and then blasted out. I probably lasted 2 years there. And the year before that, I was living in Sebastian and I was traveling down when I didn't have students and training with John DeVore and Sean McCormick and Ipo, who are all there the year before I got on the team. And then John and Sean left. And so I went down and joined the team then.
John and Sean both also on Red Bull as
Yep.
well in the Air
Yep.
Force.
Yep. Yep. Sean was a sky surfer from back in the day. John was been free flying with John for a long time. So yeah, Sean was one of the top sky surfers. He invented the invisible man. He had to tape up his arms, and then he would spin so fast that he would basically disappear to the camera. And so he called it the Invisible Man. But his so much blood would come out that he had to tape up his arms before he did it. It's pretty good. And then John DeVore, we've been free flying since. Probably met him in 94, 95 in Eloy when I moved out there. And he was out there also, and he was free flying, and so we hit it off, and we were jumping a bunch, and that was early days. That was Olaf and Omar and Charles. Mike Vale was in and out a bit, and Adrian and Orly King, and those were the guys that were there that were jumping every day. I mean, Olaf and Charles and Omar were the first guys that I saw with back-to-back rigs, knocking out 10 jumps a day and then heading out. Like, okay, dishes are done, we're gone. But a lot of, those guys came up with a lot of the moves that, some people even do today. Just they figured it out. They were the first team that really trained hard to try to push a sport. And I remember one time walking in the hangar, I mean, nobody was free flying, right? I mean, it was like, I'm talking about that group. You knew a free flyer if by the solid color of their jumpsuit, right? Like, I mean, there was not a lot of free flyers. I remember walking in, they were having a boogie. I don't know, it was probably their Christmas boogie or something like that. And there was a video playing of free flying on the little, like, I don't know, 12-inch TV in the back of the hangar or whatever size the TV was. and the hangar was packed watching it because nobody had seen it. I mean, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't social media, there wasn't anything to show it off. So it was like VHS tapes. Once a year, if you're lucky, people are coming out with these VHS tapes. And then you got to be lucky enough that somebody knows how to get that VHS tape and has a copy or whatever on your drop zone to see it. So this was just training footage. Like, it wasn't even a production style video. It's just like training footage on a tape that was playing, and the hangar was packed. People could not believe what they were seeing. It was insane. And yeah, and it just kept growing from there. Charles produced the Chronicles after that, which most people watching this haven't seen either. But those videos were the first ones that kind of were around the globe and kind of pushed the sport. The first like real production style videos of the sport of free flying. So
That's cool, man. Hey, can we go back real quick back to the base jumping
mm-hmm.
and your dad and you and like the early base jumping? Because I remember seeing some videos, like old videos of base jumping, guys jumping. I don't know. It looks like Yosemite or somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but off of cliffs. And they are going down to the wire, like down at the last minute and pulling and then landing in some water. Do you know the videos I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've seen them, but
Is that
yeah,
probably?
they're not that old, right? You're talking about well, probably old, right?
I
Early
mean, they look
2000s.
these videos look pretty old. I mean,
Oh, were they? Nice.
I'm guessing
Yeah.
that they're probably like from the like 90s is what it looks like. I mean, they're
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe early. When do you know when the very first base jump ever was? Do you know? Like who
No,
started base jumping?
no idea.
Okay. What
Yeah,
year
I
was
don't
it
know. I
that
don't
you
know
did your
much
first
about.
one? What year would that have been?
Yeah, I don't know. My first base jump
Yeah.
or was 90, 90 or 91.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, I only went to the New River Gorge a couple times,
Yeah.
and then I thought it was really cool, and I had a lot of fun when growing up as a kid, I did a lot of cliff jumping into water and whatever, and so I thought it was awesome, but I realized that I needed to kind of be able to focus, and I went out. Another teammate from the Pahokee days, Eric Forday, he brought me out to this antenna one night, and I did a couple jumps. I was like, man, I really want to get into this. I only had a few, like maybe 10 base jumps at that point, and but I realized through those years that I had to actually focus on it. So when I got done with competing in free flying, that's what I did. As soon as I was done competing in free flying, I went straight to wingsuiting and learning to base jump. I was at the World Meet in Gap. I don't remember the year, early 2000s, and Luik showed up with this video again. Videos, right? It's just a video. You get to see a video once a year. Well, he had a video, and it showed him flying down mountains. It's the first time that I ever saw it in a wingsuit. And I was competing with John and Rook, and I looked over at them, and I was like, I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. Like, this free flying thing, it's fun, but I'm going to go do that. It looks like a lot of fun. And so as soon as I stopped competing in free flying a couple of years later, that's what I went and did.
Do you have any memories that from like the Red Bull Air Force, anything that really stands out, like, man, that was cool that we did that, or just that you can't believe you guys pulled it off? I mean, like, what are some of the just really top memories from Red Bull Air Force?
I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
I've been with Red Bull for 22 years. I do a minimum, I probably minimum of 30 demo jumps a year, and projects on top of that. I mean, we've jumped into most major cities around the U.S., into like cities. We've had the opportunity to wingsuit in amazing places. Petra, we flew wingsuits into Petra at night and
Mike, back just a
landed
little bit.
inside.
A lot
What's
of
that?
people won't. Just explain what Petra is. There's a lot of people who won't know that.
In Jordan, there's this amazing building. You've probably seen it. People have seen it in pictures. That's carved into the rock, and it's the rock goes up almost vertical, not quite vertical, but 250 feet up, and you're just in this little channel of rock, surrounded by rock, and you walk through this kind of cavern with vertical walls on each side, and then all of a sudden it opens up, and you see this building which is carved in. But anyways, we got to jump there. We got to jump. Same trip, we flew down and landed in the Dead Sea, right next to the Dead Sea. One of my teammates landed in the Dead Sea. That was pretty cool. Jumped off we were the first ones to jump off the Sears Tower, now known as the Willis Tower, for Transformers 3. That was pretty fun. First base jump off that building that we're aware of, and it was a 5-way wingsuit jump. So that was pretty cool. We were flying through the city with wingsuits opening. I think the highest guy was probably open at 400 feet, and I was the last one to open. I was usually open about 200 feet
Oh my
above
goodness.
the fully open about 200 feet above the street. But we were flying all through that city. We jumped off the Trump Tower and landed in a war scene where they're fighting the Decepticons below, and shells were coming out of guns and melting our canopies. And
Oh no.
I mean, it really felt like you were deep in it, and that was pretty cool. We got to do the New Point Break, which is also fun. We did all the aerial scenes in that one also. So we jumped out with steel pallets, and they made it look like they were pallets of money. And so we went out, and we were actually moving these huge pallets around the sky, and getting them close to each other, and then pretending that we were cutting this rope, and then we let the money go um, all over the jungle, for the people below to pick up. And we were doing some 5-way at the time. Um, it was pretty cool. We're doing 5-way wingsuit jumps down through the crack in Switzerland, and yeah, I don't know. The list goes on. We've done a lot of fun stuff, a lot of cool stuff. It's been a good ride.
That's awesome, man. That's very cool. I love it.
All right, just I'm continuing along the timeline as much as I know it, and I'll get back to some of that stuff. But
Yeah.
you moved on to a team with John and Rook, which I think is at the time that I met you, when you were doing alchemy.
Yep.
How did that team go?
Yeah. So that team went pretty good. That was a lot of fun. So Rook and I were down in Pahokee, and we were both done down there. And so Sebastian, we hit up Sebastian. I had lived in Sebastian for 2 years before that, so I knew everybody there, and thought it would be cool to bring free flying back to Sebastian. I'd helped start the first free fly school there. And so we contacted them, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to have you. So we packed up and went to Sebastian and called up John, because we needed a video guy. and he was living actually here in Truckee where I am right now. And he's like, sure, I'd love to. I can travel out, whatever. He traveled out once a month or something like that for training camps. And in the meantime, Rook and I jumped every day on every load as much as we could. So, um, you know, we had at the time we had a great sponsorship, and that allowed us to do probably 1,500. We're probably doing 1,500 jumps a year at least at that point. And then I would do about 500 coaching jumps so that I could survive. Um, and and did that for a bunch of years. We did that for 2 or 3 years in Sebastian, and then they were building a tunnel. We had started free flying in the tunnel in Orlando because the Orlando tunnel had just opened and everybody was using it for belly flying. And we met Thomas and Kyle, and they were like, "Hey man, we're starting to free fly in this thing. Like, you guys have to come check this out." So Rook and I went up to the. We'd go up to the tunnel and fly after hours with these guys, and basically trying to figure out free flying in the tunnel. And I remember I had big vert skate pads on because there was no spotting or anything like that. Just trying to figure out how to fly head down in there and not bounce off the walls. And they were really, really fun sessions. Um, Thomas still rips. Kyle, I mean, they're amazing. Joe Winters was in that group. Juliana, Carlos, um, and then yeah, then the names go on. Rusty was there. Michael Peterman. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, this a lot. So yeah, so we started free flying. Then we were like, hey, we can use this as a tool. We can start coaching free flyers, like how to fly in the sky in this thing. So we'd jump all day in Sebastian, and then we'd get in the car and drive up to Orlando and coach free flying, and then wait. We had a deal that we could fly anytime that was open. And so we'd wait, and usually it was super late night, and we'd get to session ourselves in the tunnel, and then head back to Sebastian and start it all over again. They had huge suits. Rook and I had the first custom free fly suits for the tunnel. Tony made us, and they were the same size as the largest suits that the tunnel had, but we just had them fit the bodies to us. I still have my suit. It's a lot of fun to fly. Um, but yeah, so they were early days, and then we helped Joe figure out and write the program for teaching people how to free fly in the tunnel safely.
Yeah,
So like
but
the
it's more
whole
than that. You guys helped write, but the IBA training manual for instructors for flying for the safety manual.
yeah 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 we helped. It was me and Rook and Juliana and Fabian and Joe, and we sat in a room for a couple days, um, talking about everybody's ideas for what works for them, and we put it all together and came up with a training program.
So, Chris, your FITP and the spotting you do and all blah blah blah, that was stuff that they came up with 25 years ago or something.
That's wild, man. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
JRuss, am I remembering correctly, or when you told the story about you learning to fly in the tunnel at Orlando, right?
Yeah,
Who was there with you? Was
yeah, my, uh,
was Mike one of those guys?
yeah, he was. We met. I was on a belly team, and I think the first time that I actually met Mike was in the Orlando tunnel, and Jen came along, and we had booked in just an ungodly amount of tunnel time, uh, because we were fit guys, but we just didn't know what we were doing, and like we got 6 hours on a Friday night and 6 hours on a Saturday night
Oh my
straight.
gosh,
Uh,
12 hours?
yeah, and that was our first tunnel session, and my teammate Graham had met Mike somehow before I did, and said, "Hey, come on over and fly. We've got 12 hours. We got, it's just the two of us." And I think a bunch of people came, and Jen, Mike's wife, got to backfly. I know she was super excited, and we got a little bit of an introduction. But a ton of people came by. But then the last, like, I don't know, 3 hours, it was just me and Graham. It was so freaking cold, and we could barely hold our arms up or down, and we were so tired. I mean, it was the end of 12 hours and 2 nights, but we flew it all. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
You actually flew all 12 hours
yeah.
in
I mean,
2 days.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I was sitting on the bench sometimes, but every minute the tunnel was running, I was in there.
Wow. That's wild.
Man, I had like
It was
25 jumps, and
insane.
I was ready to go.
Wow.
Well, like right then, somebody said something about there being competition in skydiving, and then I was already kind of all in. But then as soon as somebody said competition, I was definitely all in. So Mike was a good guy to know because he was equally all in.
Well, I was just this morning at the tunnel, Mike. I spent my whole morning coaching the other instructors. I'm working with 3 of them on head down. So I was using some of the things that you figured out a long time ago. So those guys, we all owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't take all the credit. I was one of a few people in a room, but
Okay, that's hey, fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah,
But you're one of them. So thank you,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It was fun, man. It was fun
Oh, I
learning
bet
and
it was
coming up
just
with new
so awesome.
stuff, and yeah,
I wish we had video of that stuff, like seeing you guys in there,
we
like
do. We have
figuring
video
it out.
somewhere.
Is there really?
Oh, I'm sure there is because there was. I think Rook's got he. I don't know if he knows where to find it, but he always kept the. I didn't was really bad about keeping videos, but he was really good about being like, "Hey, can I have that video?" And he would take it, put it in some shoebox somewhere.
Man, if we
But
could see those
there's definitely
videos, that would
footage
be.
of the first free fly competition in a wind tunnel, somewhere.
Yeah, I want to see that stuff, man. But
Joey
like
Jones
even
was competing with what they call it, Black Magic or something like that, and they were doing
That was like
all back flying and
2006,
um,
maybe.
what's that?
That was 2006, I think, or 2007. Like,
No, this was like 2001 or 2002.
no, maybe. But they won nationals in 2005 with Deland Magic, and then I think he did the Black Magic the next year. Because I was still doing belly then. You had broken your ankle. It was a meet at Paris Valley, and was the nationals, and you broke your ankle swooping or something. And
Yep.
yeah.
I didn't
so
break it. Never broke a bone, but I sprained it really bad.
Oh,
But yeah, I was on crutches for that competition.
yeah. And then
so
in solidarity, Rook and John slid in on their ass because you couldn't stand it
I forgot about that. That's funny. Yeah.
so how many
Yep.
jumps do you have now? Do you know?
Probably have around, a conservative guess is about 26,500.
Okay, and base jumps?
Um, close to 2,000.
Wow, that's cool. That's very cool. That's
up.
awesome. How
Mike,
many? Sorry,
sorry, go ahead, Chris. No.
how many cutaways do you have?
Oh,
That
I have
many?
no idea.
There's
No
that many,
idea.
really?
Yeah, I mean the gear was horrible back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean it was really bad. Um, and
Specifically, in what ways? What were some of the worst things about the gear that made it so bad? What do you mean?
so the tandem rigs, the strong tandem rig, they cut the. I don't know much about it, but the for the BOC pocket, they cut the material on the wrong angle so that it wouldn't stretch the way that they had it set. So we were getting all of these drogues that were just stuck in the VOC, basically, um, and you'd end up pulling those, and you get um, yeah. Anyways, those things, I blew up a couple tandem canopies. They were super bad back then. I did a bunch of test jumping for Brian Germain, and was jumping these canopies that were horrible. People would come out to watch to see if I was going to cut away, like if they knew that I was on the load. And but they were all just like, yeah. And his good canopies were really good. Let me say that. And I jumped. I'd put 4 or 5 thousand jumps on a canopy with a line set. Before, but these were all prototypes, trying different things, and some of them were bad, and you cut away a lot.
Wow.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the total number would be. I mean, recently, now probably that I'm going to say this, I'm probably going to have a cutaway, but I don't remember the last cutaway I had. I mean, they don't happen anymore with the gear these days and everything, but back then it happened. Yeah.
And when you're skydiving, like not wingsuiting, what canopy are you jumping? And then what are you flying when you're wingsuiting? And
So for free flying, I've got a Leia 69, and for wingsuiting, I've got both Epicene 116 and an Omnicron 116.
okay. Is that the original Epicene or the Pro?
The one that I'm jumping right now is a Pro.
Okay. The Omicron, I got to fly that one time up in Washington when we filmed the wingsuit course for Crave. And that's a good canopy right there, man.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah,
nice.
it is. It's
Mike, do
really
you know the
nice. Yeah.
definition of the word epicene?
No.
You don't? You just don't want to say. I'll leave that one for people to look up, but Matt's got a sense of humor.
Yeah, he does.
Um, so, Mike, on kind of a serious note, with all the base jumping, I'm curious where you land on. Like, you've lost some friends along the way, and uh, how do you feel like how have you kept it together for yourself? How have you dealt with the somewhat more dangerous aspects of wingsuiting and base jumping and proximity flying? And when I say more, I mean more than skydiving. How have you managed those risks? Because you're still with us.
Well, I think luck plays a pretty big role in everybody getting away with things, and learning different disciplines in different sports when you're just trying to figure it out and there's not a whole lot of instruction. Um, but also, I guess for me personally, and it's only me personally, and it's not everybody, but I overtrain. When somebody says, "Oh, you're overtraining," I'm like, "Well, yeah, I am, because that's what works for me." And I actually don't believe in overtraining. I think that, uh, you know, um, uh, but that I think that's the biggest thing for me. And like when we started wingsuiting, at that time, most base jumpers were learning to wingsuit while base jumping.
Oh, wow.
And so our group on the Red Bull Air Force, took a different route, and with the team in Dubai, we took a different route and trained our asses off skydiving, and then brought that into the base jump world. And so that really helped a lot also. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Does that answer the question? I kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I think that's a great answer actually, because obviously in a lot of those situations, very small differences can make a difference. And if you're overtraining prior to making a base jump, you're overtraining through skydiving. When things don't go perfectly as planned, you've got the skill set to overcome some of that, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah. And free flying, we'd jump out, we'd train even if it was raining, and we call it distraction control, like you only get 6,000 feet. We'll do as much of the routine as you can with the pressure of that. You only have that 4,000 feet or whatever. And, wingsuiting, just learning the suit inside and out. Like we started free flying with the wingsuit, making ourselves go unstable with it, figuring out, how to fly it in situations that weren't perfect. And when we got into the base jumping environment, I'm scared of heights, and so I'd get especially the beginning days, I get to the exit point, shitting myself like on the way there, just trying to get there. Then I got to get up to the edge, just kind of looking over, just barely. I'm like, this goes, and they're like, yeah, this goes. Like, okay, and then as soon as you get off, you feel fine, and you're like, okay, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable here because there was so much preparation. But I made myself do 100 just straight base jumps before I put on a wingsuit. I had this guy Uli, was an early pioneer in wingsuit base jumping, and also a Red Bull athlete. And he took me under his wing when I first started. I went out. I'd met him before on a base jumping trip. I wasn't wingsuiting, and called him, and I was like, hey, I really want to get into this wingsuiting thing. He's like, okay, go do 100 base jumps. All right, go and do 100 base jumps as quick as I can. And then call him up, hey, I did 100 base jumps. All right, well, I forget what it was. It was like 200 wingsuit jumps. Okay, go out and do 200 wingsuit jumps. All right, I think I'm ready. All right, he brings me out there. We jump from the tallest, super overhung cliff in Italy, and it goes awesome. We're stoked, and then brings me to Lauterbrunnen, which at that time wasn't blown up like it is in Switzerland. Now it's blown out, but then it was like just a couple people in the valley jumping. I mean, there was nobody. It was so nice, and he made me walk down twice, and that was a pretty big lesson also for me. It's like after a long hike, scared shitless, and then getting to the exit point and conditions not being perfect and having to turn around and go back, and learning that you don't have to go and that it has to be on your terms was a pretty big lesson. Unfortunately, he died a couple of years later, but so the story goes. But yeah, I think that also helped a lot, was that first trip and learning those lessons.
What wingsuit do you fly?
It depends what I'm doing. So on the drop zone, I jump a Freak 6. And if I'm base jumping, I've got an Aura 5, which I jump and I really like. It's got a lot of range. I'm not the super low start guy. I'm not pushing it like that. There's plenty of other stuff out there. So the Aura allows me to do some lower starts, and gives me range to go far and get down on the terrain. It's fast. It's easy to fly. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, cool. Have there been any projects, whether Red Bull or anything, that you've said no to because of you just thought that's not going to work, that's not safe for whatever reason? In any projects you said no to that stand out?
I know there are. I don't know. They don't come to mind right now. Sitting here, as soon as we hang up, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was the one. But I'm not afraid to say no. I'm not, if I'm not feeling it, or you know, I don't think it's beyond my skill set or whatever it might be, then I'm not I'm not scared to say no.
Does Red Bull let you guys kind of brainstorm and come up with the ideas, or do they hand the ideas to you, or where do those come from?
Yeah, so they come from the athletes. When you see a project that a Red Bull athlete does, it's coming from the athletes,
That's cool.
and it's yeah, it's their passion pushing it.
That's really cool. So you just come up with an idea, pitch it to them, and they say, "Yeah, go for it."
Well, not every time.
Yeah.
We're like, come back next year with that one,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But it has been an amazing amount of sport. I mean, I couldn't have, like I said, I mean, I did free flying forever and canopy piloting, and then being with Red Bull allowed me to go out and you know, do amazing things with base jumping and wingsuiting and speed riding, and give me all these opportunities that I would have never had otherwise. Just years of making dreams come true. I mean, it's been an amazing ride.
That's really cool, man. It's very cool.
And, Mike, you helped Rook organize many of the first free fly records, and you took a break
Yeah.
for a couple years. But
Yeah.
you are.
So,
Go ahead.
it's all right. So speaking of, oh, do you want to ask a question or do you
No,
want
no,
me?
I want you
Okay.
to talk.
Okay.
I'm wondering where this is
So
going.
I'll give a no. It's okay. I'll give a little. So yes, the first record that I was on was a 10-way round. That was the first free fly record ever, and it was in Cross Keys, New Jersey, of all places, in 1999, I think. There was a Space Games competition there, and it was a 3-way free fly event, and teams from all over came to compete in that. And Olaf organized, and he doesn't even remember. I was talking to him in Chicago about this the other day. He's like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I've got a photo." So I filmed it, and it was a 10-way round. It was the first time that 10 people were docked in the sky together,
Head down.
which was pretty amazing. So then, when Rook and I moved to Sebastian in 2001, we were like, "Oh, we should do a head down record." And so we did an event. It wasn't recognized by USPA or anything like that. We got a bunch of our friends together and put together a world record event, whatever, a record event. And I think the first one was a 18-way,
Yeah.
if I'm remembering correctly. And then the next year, so then we're like, okay, well, we should make this an actual event. We should make a category for it. So we Rook and I got together with Aaron Golden Brown, because we couldn't write, and she had a major in English, and so we were like, okay, this is what we want to do, and we gave her a draft, and then she wrote it up for us, and Rook brought it to the next USPA meeting. He went up and was like, "Hey, we want to do this. We want to make an actual record," and they were like, "All right." And it wasn't a world record because FAI didn't sign off on it. After we did the first event with USPA backing it as a national record, then the FAA jumped on, and then it was an actual world record event. So that's how the events came on. And then we did a couple in Sebastian. We did one where the weather was so bad in Sebastian that we were like, all right, get in the plane. This is how small it was, right? Get in the plane. Here we go. And we flew over to Pahokee, Skydive America, and sight unseen, we're like, all right, you guys, you're going to land here. You're going to follow me in. Like, this is how we're doing it. And I don't know what the flight is over there, but it's pretty long. We get over there, we jump out, do the jump, land, everything's good. Get a phone call. Hey, the weather's better in Sebastian now, and go back and finished off the event there. But that was pretty fun. So we did like 18, then we did the 24 the next year, and then it was 48 the next year after that. We were doing the records every year because people were pumped to do it, and it was fun. But in the 48, we were actually recognized by the FAI for like the most amazing achievement of 1962 or whatever the year was. And so we went with Bill Otley to this thing in Washington, D.C., and we got the award for the group or whatever. But about that time, everybody was like, man, every year, is a lot. So we changed it to every other year because people had to there was people traveling from around the world, and there was an interest in doing it every year, but there was an interest in doing it every other year. So then we moved out to Paris because they built a new tunnel out there, like I said earlier, and we got invited out there to kind of be sponsored athletes there and help with the free fly school. The Flyboys were already there, so we joined up with them and made the Free Fly Mega Center, which was the Flyboys and Alchemy together, and it was grand times. And we did a couple more record events there, and then moved the event to Skydive Chicago, and that's where it's been since. What was your question?
That was it.
That was it.
Well, and then, so have there been any records that you missed? Because the 2 years you weren't there, we didn't get records.
So I only missed 1 year.
Really?
And so 2 times ago, the first time we didn't get the records, first time ever, like in the history of us doing them, from the 18 way to everything. That was the first time, and I was there for that.
You didn't get it in. No, you didn't. You guys tried a 56 way in the Middle East. It didn't happen.
That wasn't Rook and I and John organizing it.
Okay.
That was Olaf and Charles and Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun event, though. I mean, that was fun.
I think Dusty dropped
the jumps weren't
somebody
great,
in the hotel.
But that was free flying back in the day, man. There's people puking on the way to the plane, and hypoxic, waking up in the middle of the skydive. I mean, that was amazing times. But that was so of the events that Alchemy organized.
Okay.
We hadn't failed until, I guess, 3 times ago now. And then I decided that I was done. The organizing part of it for me is just, it's too much stress. I still have people that hold grudges from the early 2000s about cutting them. And, as an organizer, that it's the shittiest part of the job, but it has to be done. And I ended up getting the nickname of the Axe, which I passed on to Jason. For years, when we started doing the records in Chicago, because it's Rook's drop zone, and he's the face of that drop zone, and he doesn't need to be. I didn't feel that he needed. He didn't ask me to do this, but I didn't feel that he needed to be the bad guy. So I took over being that guy, where the three of us would share the duties before that. And like I said, I mean, there's people to this day that still hold a grudge on me for that. And I, this one time, 5 girls come up. We're on a 5-minute call. The planes are running and they're just crying. I've ruined their lives. Life as they know it is over. I'm just like, I can't take it. I'm sorry. I'm not built out of stone. Like I can't do it. So, and then you have, now we're up to 200 people coming, and you have all the pressure of people. There's people that are training for these things just for this, just for the world record for years. They're putting tens of thousands of, at least, of money into training, into traveling. Then they come over to the record event, and you've got the pressure to deliver. And you have weather, you have a bad skydive, you have all of this stuff, and you just have all that pressure. So, to get back to it, because I've been the tangent master on this call, it just, I was over it. I was completely over it. I didn't want that part of it anymore. And I wasn't free flying a ton. I mean, I was still free flying, but when I was in Dubai, I guess I was still doing 1,000 jumps a year free flying, but I wasn't jumping
just that
much,
more than most people do in their lifetime.
And then after that, when I left there, I wasn't jumping a lot. So anyways, that pressure, everything, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then after that event, I really didn't free fly much. I mean, here and there, do some tracking, whatever. But a few weeks before this last event, there was a 20-way event up in Washington. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll do that. I have a day. So they invited me to do it, and I was like, oh, yeah. So I went up, and I was like, hey, free flying is still fun. And then Rook sent me a message like a week later or something like that, 2 weeks later, and was like, hey, I heard you were thinking about coming out. I was like, all right. So changed my mind. But this time, no, I had nothing to do with the organization. I got cut for the first time, which was awesome. I tried to cut myself years before that, but it wouldn't let me. And it was fun hanging out and not having any responsibility except not fucking up the dive. I mean, I'd done 5 formation jumps and there were 20 ways in 3 years. So little uncurrent, but it was super fun. And I'm glad I did it. Like I'm glad that I went back.
Hey, so those first few years that y'all were setting records, 18, 24, 48, I don't remember the numbers you said. What altitude were y'all jumping from?
Whew. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Come on, you can remember, Mike.
We weren't going up with oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, probably like 14 or something, you think?
Yeah, probably. We might have been pushing 15, but we weren't going up with oxygen.
When do you think, at what number did y'all start? Like, okay, we got to get higher. What do you think?
Man, I don't really remember, but if I had to guess, I would say when we got to Paris. And I think the record in Paris was 54. I think it was a 54 away. I'm not sure.
And what would that have been like? Was that 3 planes or what? Do you remember having any idea what planes were all using at that point? You don't know. See, I want to know these things, man.
Memory's not strong. Yeah, it's details. I told you, I'm not the details guy. Go have fun guy. I don't remember what we were jumping out of at that time. We might have. They had a sky van, and we might have been jumping out of a sky van and an otter. But I don't remember. It could have been 3 otters also. I don't remember.
Okay.
See, the way that this works is if you want to have a conversation like this, you get me and Rook and John on the same call. Between the 3 of us, we have one memory.
Each of you has a part.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, that's how it all goes, right? One person said something, you're like, oh, yeah, and then this, and then, oh, yeah, and it was like that. And he'll remember that we were 3 planes, and they were this, and we went up to this altitude. And I'll remember that so-and-so puked on the way to the plane.
One complete story.
Yeah.
And let's see. I don't want to drag too much of your private life in, but I know you're a dad. You've got a little girl, except she's not little anymore.
Yep. I've got a daughter. She's 12.
Whew.
She's super rad, Seisha. And she's gone speed riding with me before and keeps on asking to do tandems, but haven't done that yet. Not sure when we're going to pull the trigger on that. Of course, out of the country, in a country that's legal. But yeah, she skis, really ripping skier. Just upgraded to a 125 Honda, so pretty fun. We got a lot of single track in these trees out here and stuff, so pretty fun time. Snowmobiling, all that stuff. So yeah, she's fun.
And what's the future of jumping for you?
Future of jumping for me? Ooh, that's a good question. Do you know the future of jumping for you?
I know what's on the calendar.
I don't know, man. I'm still having fun. I still enjoy it. Where I'm living right now, I don't get to skydive every day. But I'll do trips. Like I'll go to Washington for a couple months, a summer, and train every day. And they've got a great group, super talented flyers up there in one spot. The free fly scene is pretty good up there right now also. So there's a lot of quality jumps on any given day. It's pretty sick. So you can get a lot of good training in a short period of time. And then between all the things that I like to do is with speed riding and base jumping and everything, it eats up quite a bit of time. So it's a lot of on the road and work. So it's a lot of on the road.
Which drop zone are you talking about at Washington?
Kapowsin.
Okay. That's where Matt is and
Yep.
Jack Lane and all those guys?
Yep.
Yeah. And what's Andy Farrington, right? Isn't that where don't they own that? Isn't that his family?
Yep. And Luke Akins.
Yeah. That's a good place. Yeah, there's a lot of really talented flyers up there.
Yeah, there are. It's really like Tuesday you can have one of the best wingsuit jumps that you've ever been on.
That's like Wingsuit Central right there. That's like Wingsuit headquarters.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really fun. And Andy's got a son that's a month older than my daughter. So they've been playing on the floor and running around since, before they could walk or talk, So they go up there and it's fun for her. She comes up for 2 months and just rages with all the kids around there, and they ride motorcycles and have fun and try to stay out of the hospital, and we skydive every day. So it's pretty fun.
That's cool. Very cool.
All right, Mike, I got one more thing. We're at an hour and 15 minutes, and we usually go about an hour. But I was wondering if you would go ahead and tell people what you're on the day of your child's birth. What were you doing?
That's details, man. He doesn't know details.
No. He knows this because I was in the plane with him, and he kept checking his phone and being like, "Oh, Jen's probably gonna have the baby today," and like at one point he's like, "Shit, I haven't checked my phone in a while. I gotta go."
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, I was probably skydiving, but you know, I was probably doing 2,000 jumps a year there also. So it's like
yeah,
it's hard to
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
in Dubai, it was 10 jumps in the desert in the morning, and then I'd go do another 7 jumps at the Palm, and then go train the guys in the tunnel for 2 hours a night, 5 days a week.
yeah.
And yeah, that was a lot. And I was doing that. And then that's when I messed up my shoulder because we were in the hospital, we had the baby, we're chilling, and my kids were supposed to be trained. It was like 2 days after, or a day after, or 2 days after. I was like, hey, my kids are training in the tunnel. I'm just going to run over the tunnel real quick. I'll be right back. And I jump in there. I throw up my arms, upright carve or whatever, and my shoulder just goes, donk. And so I spent the rest of my time there with my arm inside my jumpsuit, flying with one arm because I couldn't.
Didn't stop flying, but put it inside of his jumpsuit.
So he could keep flying with a dislocated
Yeah,
shoulder. That's hilarious.
yeah.
It's pretty
Cool.
fun. Yeah. Those were good times also.
Yeah, they
Sounds
were
like it.
having babies and stuff.
That's awesome.
Well, cool. So I think I got through everything on my question list. Mike, you got anything? Chris, you got anything you want to add to our cast now?
No, man, I love it. There's a lot of good stories, man. I'm really glad that we got to have you on and got to meet you, Mike. It's really cool, man. Really, really cool.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Mike, and everybody out there. Thanks for sitting around, not wasting another hour, but having a very informative chat about the connection of the past and the present and the future of skydiving and Mike Swanson and the Red Bull Air Force and blah blah blah. So thanks for joining us, guys, and take a second and check out Crave's website and see if there's some stuff on there that can help you be a better flyer and take a page out of Mike's book of "There's no such thing as overtraining," and maybe you can join us in the being in the sky, having a good time with your friends, and get out there and do more and be better. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See you guys.
See
Sick.
ya.
Later.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.